Now, the Israeli military has continued with its offensive across the Gaza Strip with intense strikes and ground operations in several areas. In North Gaza, thick smoke billowed into the sky after early morning explosions. In Khan Yunis's, Gazans were seen mourning over the bodies of relatives at the Nasser hospital after they were killed in an Israeli bombing.
Suddenly, a missile from an F-16 destroyed the entire house, and all of them were civilians, my sister, her husband, and their children.
Now, amidst the assault reports claim that the Israeli soldiers also allegedly used Palestinians as human shields, a practice outlawed by the Israeli Supreme Court in 2005, but still repeatedly used by the Israelis. The report suggests that 2 former Israeli soldiers admitted to similar tactics. Meanwhile, Gaza's healthcare system has crumbled. The World Health Organization has reported that only 19 of the 36 hospitals remain operational, most of them completely damaged and barely functioning because of the Israeli shelling. Now, several hospitals had to suspend services last week due to nearby combat and aid missions have been blocked from reaching several facilities. Overcrowded conditions, a lack of medical supplies has left hospitals unable to cope with the volume of casualties.
After the hospitals in northern Gaza were taken completely out of service, there are now no medical services in northern Gaza. The burden on Al-Shifa Medical Complex has become heavy. We are receiving a large number of cases from northern Gaza in a very difficult situation. The bed capacity in Al-Shifa Medical Complex is very low. It cannot accommodate this large number of wounded and sick people. We receive between 500 and 600 patients daily in the emergency department.
At a charity kitchen in Al-Mawasi near Khan Yunis, the crowds of the thousands of the displaced Palestinians waited for a portion of lentil soup, the only food that is available after weeks of crippling restrictions have been imposed on bringing even food and other humanitarian supplies like medicines into the Gaza Strip. Now, in response to the mounting international pressure, Israel has lifted the 11-week blockade only just a little. It claims that about 300 trucks of aid have entered through the Kerem Shalom crossing, but much of the aid remains stalled near the border due to security issues and limited distribution capacity. Therefore, the Palestinians effectively have had very little aid that has reached them.
I have a daughter who was martyred and another who is injured. Doctors allowed my injured daughter has to eat bread, but I don't have bread. My siblings found bread in the street, and so I washed it and soaked it so she could eat. Me and her young siblings go by without bread as they eat lentils and go to bed. As for my young daughter, I collected bread from the streets and she eats it.
The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has warned that Gaza is on the edge of famine. He described the aid currently being allowed in as a teaspoon when a flood is required. Guterres has said that Israel is obligated under international law to ensure the humane treatment of the civilians who are trapped in the Gaza Strip.
In recent days, almost 400 trucks were cleared for entry to Gaza through the Kerem Shalom crossing. But supplies from only 115 trucks have been able to be collected, and nothing has reached the besieged north. We are working around the clock to get whatever aid we can to people in need.
Now, despite some signs of aid trickling in, such as the reopening of a few bakeries, the situation still remains very, very, very bleak. There are a very few number of bakeries that have reopened in the south. The displaced residents are surviving by scraping together the leftovers, discarded bread, and drinking thin soup.
Palestinians say that they are being used by Israeli soldiers as human shields. Right here behind me in the Jenin refugee camp is a place where Palestinians have said that they have been used by Israeli soldiers. They have said that they have had to go ahead of the soldiers into apartments. One woman went into at least 6 different apartments carrying a drone that the soldiers gave her with a camera on it to make sure that it was all clear before the soldiers went in after her.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.